Hello everybody, my name is Hamp Thomas and I'm here to welcome you to our class on home measuring video class. This class is all videos and we're going to talk about a lot of different things with measuring square footage today, guys. But I guarantee you're going to learn something new in this class. If you got any questions after it, reach out to me. I'll be glad to try to help you. But, you know, we have been talking for a while about home measuring services, you know, and floor plan services being the future. Guess what? Enter LiDAR. Is LiDAR going to change our world? It absolutely is. Is it the answer to everything square footage? It is not, guys. But we're going to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of LiDAR in this class. And, you know, let's face it. With all the AI stuff coming out, this LiDAR technology, we're getting ready to live in the world of the Jetsons. It's coming sooner than we think here, guys. What about LiDAR and ANSI? What about slope ceilings? What about ceiling heights? What about concrete floors? I mean, there's a lot of different things and questions of if LiDAR is actually ANSI compliant. What about GLA and GBA? Who's going to determine that? It is the professional practitioner's job to determine finished living area. So no matter how good LiDAR gets, whatever happens, you still need to understand as a real estate professional what makes finished living area and GLA, if you will. And remember, ANSI doesn't use the word GLA. That's insane to me, but it's part of what we have to deal with, so we need to know all the correct terminology. All right, what about these house designs? We're going to look at lasers versus LiDAR and see how they compare. You know, it gets real interesting, and you know, there's so many different tests going on, and there is a lot of different opinions on this subject, guys. Some people think LiDAR is the best thing since sliced bread, and some people are not trusting it even a little bit. So we're going to kind of have some fun looking at the powers of LiDAR. But you got to admit, for those that work in a market where weather is a hindrance to measuring square footage, LiDAR is a game changer. You know, no more out in the snow worrying about what you're going to walk out, even in areas that don't have snow. In the heavy rains, you know, when you got to get through a real steep lot, or, you know, spiders and snakes and bicycles and ladders, and there's so many things that we run across when we're measuring houses, and LiDAR eventually will be a way to make our jobs a lot easier. How many of you already are scanning houses on your iPhone? You know, there's a lot of us already doing that. What's your opinion about the accuracy of the program you use? What system do you use? And how many of you are using a system that your appraisal management company is providing for you? We've got a lot of different things to talk about here. One quick example, fairly simple house in Florida, you know, no fancy angles or anything like that. The appraisal came back with 2821 on the GLA. I measured it myself just to be sure. 1 square feet. That's pretty close. That's about as close as we can get. So it wasn't a hard house to measure, and we should have all come up pretty close on that. We got it done LiDAR inspection. 2,539. Now I'll tell you that people live in this house. There are 3 kids, and they are, you know, they are normal kids, you know. There are clothes on the floor. There are things around, you know, there's toys. There's just things that real people that live in real houses, you know, everything is not perfectly neat, and it was a real life scan and a good comparison. 2821 on the appraisal, 2539 in Cuba Casa, and 2639 in tax records. The difference in the appraisal in Cuba Casa is 282 square feet. Guys, that changes property values. That's a problem, and we're going to talk about what to do about that. Now, this other example, we won't go over this. We'll do this in the class. But, 600 square feet, there's a lot of difference in these things. But a lot of them advertise 99.6% accuracy. That sounds good, but unless you have the very best camera available, that number might be a little bit high. The goal is you really have to have a quality instrument to do well with LiDAR. But remember, LiDAR requires not only a quality instrument to measure, but you still have to be subjective. You are the expert. You have to understand ANSI. This class is going to help you understand LiDAR, and it's also going to help you understand the basics. You still need to know how to measure a house. And there are going to be a lot of times where you are asked to verify the measurements using what you know and a laser or even a good old-fashioned tape measure. Home measurement is not going to change so fast that an expert doesn't need to know how to measure square footage and how to determine finished living areas. I hope you're going to find something in class today you can use at work tomorrow. Thank you for joining us, and let's get started.